Welcome to the Jeff Knows Inc. Entrepreneurial Show with your host, Jeff Lopes.
We are live on the Jeff Knows Inc. podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Lopes. Super excited. I'm almost a little fanboy today for Richard Rawlings, Gas Monkey Garage. How are you, brother?
Woo!
I was waiting for that.
It's another perfect day in Texas.
I love it. Usually when I start off a show, we talk about what you're currently doing. I want to change it up a bit today. We're going to actually talk about Richard, Texas, growing up. How were you as a child? How many siblings do you have? How was your childhood?
You know, I grew up on the wrong side of the track, so to speak. We grew up pretty poor, pretty humble. My dad worked 3 jobs at one time his whole life. I mean, I threw newspapers with him from the time I was around 7 until the time I was around 17. My job as part of the family was getting up at about 3:30 in the morning and getting in the back seat of whatever station wagon we had at the time. And I'd roll the papers, or I'd put them in the bag and put them in the front seat, and he'd chunk them out each side. And then I'd get back home around 5:30 and get an hour nap before I had to go to school. So, you know, my dad instilled that hard work and that hard labor into me. So, you know, I hated it at the time, but I definitely respect it now.
I love it. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I've got a older sister, Daphne, that works with me here. You've probably seen her somewhere.
Yeah.
And then technically I have a younger brother and sister, stepbrother sister from a different mom. My dad got remarried when I was around 3 or 4, and they're out there somewhere doing whatever they do.
Where did your passion for cars start?
You know, it really did with my dad. You know, being that he had to work so hard, he always had something that was his, whether it was one car or one motorcycle. And definitely wasn't the best one. It definitely wasn't a show car, but he was always proud of it. And so he took me under his wing and taught me something that no millennial in the world knows how to do: clean a car window. I have not had an employee come through here in almost 20 years that can clean a windshield properly without smudging or forgetting a spot or whatever. So my dad was pretty anal about that stuff. So, you know, I think I'm going to start holding a window washing 101 on the YouTube.
I love it. We're going to talk about a little bit about YouTube in a bit as well, because I see you guys are really pushing that, and that's going to be a big part of your going forward with the Gas Monkey Garage brand and all that. So fast forward. I mean, when did you start your first company? Because I see you always had the entrepreneurial juices, and obviously you've done well for yourself. And we're going to talk about self-branding, because I think that's something that's very underrated. A lot of people build a brand, but they don't learn how to self-brand. And you've done that so well, because your face is just as popular as your brand. Let's get back to your first company. When did you actually start like entrepreneurial juices and like, I really want to work on my own and do this on my own?
I filed my first U.S. taxes at the age of 14. So I was mowing yards or babysitting or raking leaves or whatever. And around the same time, my dad was teaching me to, you know, save, tithe at the church, save. And then I got to keep about 40% of the money that came in. So it was put up. You know, so, and then I used those funds to start flipping cars. So all through high school, I was buying and selling cars because going back to the first of the conversation, I threw newspapers. That is one of the coolest things, because I knew where all the cars were. I was up and down every street and every alley. And so I was buying cars left and right all through high school. I probably went through 35, 40 cars in my high school years. And then as far as starting my first, you know, real company, I'd say it was after I went straight from, I was a police officer, firefighter, and paramedic before I was old enough to drink. And so at 18 and a half, I was in police academy. By 19, I was in the fire academy and medic school. And by 20, I was working full time doing that kind of stuff. So it was probably 25 or 6 years old when I left there and started really getting the entrepreneurial bug. I mean, I had it the whole time while I was at the fire department, and I was doing some different things. And one of those companies kind of took off, so I was able to leave the fire department. And
which company was it?
Believe it or not, it was a silly story. Being that I was always, about my cars being clean and stuff. I was at a car wash, and if I've got a few years on you, but they used to give you a plastic bag that had a little hole on it, and you hung it on your radio knob. And on that plastic bag had ads for local businesses. And really all it was a reminder, is somewhere to put your trash so that your car wasn't dirty. And it was a reminder that this car wash is down the street, and they paid for it to give it to you free by selling the ads on the bag itself. And I was in a car wash, long story short, and the lady asked me if I wanted one of those. And I said, my car doesn't even have radio knobs, man. These things are dated. I said, what I really need is a towel to wipe off the spots when I leave here. And that was a light bulb moment. So I created a company called Promo Wipes, and started pushing that at all the car washes. It was basically just a lint-free, nice paint. It wouldn't scratch the paint, I guess is what I was looking for. And it printed, an ad or a saying for the car wash or whatever. And I took it to the International Car Wash Show in Vegas and took on I thought I'd sell 30 or 40 orders. I took over 900 orders that
Wow.
Yeah, with 900 different car washes nationwide. So, the guys.
How old were you at this point?
Probably 23, 22.
Good for you.
The guys at the fire department spurred it on more than anything, because I'm talking to them about this product. They're like, "You're going to print on a paper towel, and then people are going to pay for it." I said, "Yeah," and they're like, "Oh, you're dumb," because they were all way older than I was, and they had their lives set in their bass boat and what have you. So it's funny looking back at it. From the day I walked in to the department, I was labeled Hollywood. And so that was kind of my nickname. And look at us now.
Well, I'm going to drive back into that quickly. So did you have any family members? Like, what got you into that career to start with? Obviously the fire department and all that. What pushed you into that career? Something you enjoyed, or something you just thought it was a good, secure, safe career?
Dad always told me to get a good job with good benefits. Don't work 3 jobs like I have to, So I was, trying to figure it out, and I kind of wanted to be a policeman, and I signed up to go to the Air Force, but they wouldn't let me. They wouldn't guarantee me that I would be a police officer or a firefighter or a pilot. I had specific, and I had heard from someone that if you don't get that specific job on your contract, you might be peeling potatoes. So when they wouldn't put it in the contract, I left and just started trying to do it on my own and what have you. So, I wish I would have had the opportunity to serve the country, but I just, it wasn't in the cards for me at the time. Do
you mind me asking, is your father still with us?
Yeah, but he doesn't know it. He's got pretty severe Alzheimer's and, what have you. So he kind of deteriorated very quickly. He's actually young for having Alzheimer's as advanced as he is. He's like 75. And he is just completely gone. But I've been asked this before, what's your greatest achievement? And I think that for me, being in a position where I can take care of my dad in a very good, great manner is probably my greatest achievement. I'm very proud that I'm in that spot to make sure that he's taken care of, because I know a lot of families struggle with Alzheimer's and dementia, and it's really hard, but it's not going away anytime soon.
I appreciate everything you're saying, and I'll explain why in a sec. And then why I brought that up is you in this first 10, 15 minutes we've been talking, you've mentioned your dad probably about 6 or 7 times. And I love that, because my dad was my best friend. I just lost my dad 4 weeks ago. And and I'm 44. I mean, I'm married with 2 kids. I would still call my dad 2-3 times a day. Like we were buddies. We used to go to car shows when we were kids. Like Mike loved for cars with my dad. My dad worked at Ford Motors. Like I have a thing back there. It's a Shelby, Carl Shelby car signed by Carl Shelby. My dad got that for me. So he was a big part of my life, and it was unexpected. It was just a sudden heart attack. Nobody knew it was coming. Never smoked, didn't drink. And so we just lost him. And it's been probably the hardest last 4 weeks of my life. But I'm also going through the other side where my wife's My father-in-law is just got diagnosed 6 months ago with dementia, and he's deteriorating so quickly. So I see both sides of it. So I just brought that up because you keep talking about your dad, and I love that. I love that. I appreciate that so much, man. And I'm glad that you had those memories with him and you built all those memories with him. So I appreciate that part of it. So
sorry for your loss, sir.
Thank you, buddy.
But I tell people I haven't lost my dad yet, but he lost himself.
So correct me if I'm incorrect here. Was your first appearance on TV with the Chip Foose show, or were you on another show prior?
No, Chip Foose is, hats off to Chip Foose. He has been a mentor and a great friend. And I had the chance to meet him in the very early years of Gas Monkey Garage. And I told him what I wanted to do because, Gas Monkey was built to be a brand. I didn't have a car show and all of a sudden get on TV. I built Gas Monkey from the beginning to be an automotive lifestyle brand and to, do that with something that I loved, which is cars and motorcycles. But our first shots on TV were with Chip Foose. I think we did overhauling 3 or 4 times. I don't remember exactly. I think 3 for sure.
So when you're putting this all together, Gas Monkey Garage and just in Gas Monkey in general, the brand, where was your mindset? Like when did it all click together? Where did the name come from? Like, give me a little beginning of the story of this brand, because it built such a powerful brand.
I'll try to keep it as brief as I can, but it's a good story. After leaving the department, I got into printing and advertising and building brands. And I started my own company, and I was into it for about 5 years, very successful. I was building brands and packaging and styling and buzz for other companies. And that was where I really found my niche. And the light bulb moment that I wanted to do Gas Monkey was that printing press rooms are typically very clean there because you can't have dust and stuff like that. So I had this big warehouse with all this equipment, and all around this equipment were my motorcycles and cars and all my toys. So people always wanted to come over there and drink beer and do press checks and stuff. And I just started fiddling with the idea, maybe I should open a shop next door. And then I was laying in bed and I was watching TV. Jesse was on TV and Orange County was starting up, and I realized I like these shows. But when I was, but my wife and kid at the time were not in there. And they were in another room watching something else. And I was just bugged by it. And I was like, this is too much bravado, too much bullshit, too much bandanas down to here and kicking boxes and cussing and pit bulls on chains and trying to be a badass. And that wasn't what it was like when I grew up. When I grew up, hot rods and motorcycles were the neighborhood affair, and all the bad moms were around, and somebody was cooking, and the kids were playing in the yard. And I was like, these guys are missing 60% of the market. They're only getting the male, 18 to 45 eyeballs.
Yeah,
they're missing it. So I sold my company about 2 or 3 weeks later, and Gas Monkey was born, and it was born with the sole intention to be that family automotive motorcycle lifestyle brand that didn't exist at the time. And, what have you. So full circle, I'm telling Chip Foose at our first meeting what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm going to build this brand. I'm going to do my damnedest to knock these guys off the top. And I'm going to be the #1 automotive motorcycle lifestyle brand in the world. And he's like, well, okay. everybody I told had the same reaction, like, yeah, you're not taking those guys down, and you're not going to get a TV show with Discovery and everything else. And I said, I'll watch. And, it was a rough road. I put every dime into it. I mean, I went broke, like dead broke, sleeping on my couch type, can't pay rent at the shop twice. And, you want a humbling experience, try going to your wife who's gainfully employed and asking her if you can borrow $1,000 so you can make payroll for your employee. You're just one of them. And so it was a crazy road, but I stuck to it, and I almost gave up. At the very end, I was like, I've done it all. I can go back to making good money, and I've put everything I have into it. And then the phone call came, and kind of at the last second, and I almost didn't take it because I was in another company also with regards to healthcare. and it was doing extremely well, still is. And
are you still part of that company? Healthcare?
No, I lost that part of my company through divorce. But my wife at the time, well, we were running it and growing it. I almost didn't take the show. At the last minute, they offered it, and I said, you're only giving me 6 episodes. There's no guarantee. You got all these rules on me. And so we just thought about it and said, you know what? If I don't do it, I won't know. And that's my wife at the time said, you have to, or you'll bother yourself forever. And I said, yeah, but if I do it, you know me, I'm going all in. And she goes, let's just roll the dice and go for it. So
what year was this?
2012.
So you're looking at 9 years. Time flies, huh?
Yeah, but it was 8 years since I started the company to try to get to that point. It took me 8 years to convince Hollywood that there could be a cool car show and that it didn't have to be cussing and cursing and pit bulls and kicking boxes and what have you. Now the people in Hollywood think they're fucking geniuses because they thought of all this. It's amazing. So that's where it got to, and 4 different shows later, and 380 some odd episodes of television. We now have left cable. Thank God.
Do you ever plan to get back to cable, or you want to pursue the building? I mean, everybody's going that. It's either through Twitch or through YouTube. Everybody's building their own brand now. So obviously that's something we're going to talk about. But would you ever go back to cable if the opportunity was there for another network or something?
It would have to be a Guy Fieri type deal, like you just got, 80, 100 million bucks. It would have to be a lot, because a lot of people think, oh, he gets the show and everything's great. I lost my ass on the show through payment and expenses, and it was ungodly more expensive than the money that they gave us. Everybody thinks, oh, you get a TV show and all of a sudden you're rich. You're not. Even today, if you land a new, say you're a chef or a home builder or whatever, your first few years are only going to be around, $3,000-$5,000 an episode. I mean, it's not.
Seriously, huh?
Wow, it's nothing. I mean, and nowadays it's even worse. I think that I'm maybe one of the last of the Mohicans in that I own my brand. Nowadays, I've seen new contracts coming out because people call me all the time when they get offered something. And they go, okay, well, Jeff, you got your brand, so we want 50% of any increase on that, and anything you do from now on, we are getting 75%. And if you launch new products, we get that. And they see the mathematics of what they missed out on over the years with me and Jesse in Orange County and others, and they go, hey, if I'm going to put you on a show, I'm going to own every aspect of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so you were one of the last, because I become friends with a gentleman, Dr. Bill Dorfman. He was the dentist on ABC's Extreme Makeover. Okay. And when he got on that show, it was one of the first reality shows. This is going on years and years back. Mm-hmm. He had just launched a company called Zoom Whitening. It was a product for whitening. That Zoom Whitening, at the beginning, he was like, could I advertise this and talk about it? And they're like, yeah, whatever, go ahead. That company ended up selling for, nowadays, there's no way they would. At the end of the episodes before the show ended, they were already stopping him from doing that, blocking off the logo and all that stuff like that. But at the beginning, he was pushing it. And I think that company ended up selling for like 1.5 billion or something like that years later.
Same thing. I was able to push my Gas Monkey brand. I was able to push brands that were up on my wall or in my show, but they quickly started clamping down on it and what have you. But I was able to launch my energy drink and launch my tequila and build the brand on television. And that is going to be almost impossible from this point forward for anyone going into the reality show stuff. They want you wearing blank shirts or something that they own.
Yeah, that's crazy. So let's talk about, your brand expanded so rapidly into different markets. To tequila, are you still in that tequila market?
We've halted the market, our production for right now, because we were rearranging the board of directors. So we're fixing to push that back out probably third quarter.
That's a very competitive market too, just like the energy drinks, crazy competitive markets, right?
Yeah, they really are. And we had to do the same with the energy drink because of changing of some ownership of the brand and what have you. But the energy drink market was brutal. And I don't know if I'm going to pull that back out or not. But the power of the brand, to put it into perspective, I don't know if y'all have Bang Energy up there, but I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
In the U.S., there's 161 energy drinks, or there was a year and a half ago. And in 4 years, roughly the same time as Bang, we got to number 11 just because of the brand, and Bang got to number 5. They spent $180 million doing it, I'm told. I spent for this stuff is that powerful, and people just resonate with it. And, you know, I'm very proud of that. I mean, I wouldn't be here without the fans and the brand. But, you know, we attacked the tequila market the same way. We were with one distributor, and they called me up one day after we had just started the brand. And because we've got the one thing that nobody else has for free, no other brand. We got an hour of television every week.
Which is like that. Just to give first perspective, like I always tell people, if you, like, for example, Shark Tank, for example, if you get your product in front of people in front of Shark Tank, you got a minute and a half or 2 minute pitch, that could be probably worth $150,000 in advertising, if not more. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't think people, it's crazy the value, and people don't realize it. Like what you did and the brand you built is insane. It's insane. I don't think people that realize the value of that.
Yeah, we had a study done by a big agency here in Dallas, and they said basically the value of me holding that Gas Monkey energy drink can throughout an episode 2 or 3 times, at a second here, 2 seconds there, was about the equivalent of $2 million an episode worth of advertising.
Wow.
And, you know, so we were able to do that in the energy drink. And like I was saying, in the tequila business, we were in one big distributor, and everything was kind of going haywire. We're moving product. And they call up and they said, you need to send trucks over here to pick up everything. And I said, what are you talking about? Everything's going great. And they said, we have another cinnamon drink in here, and they're a major chunk of our business. And they said that either your stuff's out of our warehouse or theirs is. And theirs is our warehouse. And I said, okay, I get it. So I had to move all that to another one. And those people were justifiably worried because I had that stance on television that they had to pay for. And we were gaining market share.
Oh, I remember if I recall, you had like one episode where the end of the episode was essentially it was a truck. You guys rebuilt some truck, and the whole episode, the end of the episode was like a commercial for the tequila.
Yeah, it's my tequila. The whole issue of the building it was the desert to dig up
yes
make tequila and what have you. So pretty good. And like I said, you're not going to see that anymore. That those days are way gone. I mean, towards the end, I couldn't get anything done due to, I guess, contracts that are now in place. I can't discuss the ending, but thank God I'm where I'm at now.
So your goal now is to transition everything to your YouTube channel. That is what I'm kind of seeing overall. You're going to start doing your builds on the YouTube channel?
Yeah. We just we've been piddling with it because per contracts that I signed before there was social media, I couldn't do anything, and the network didn't. They thought that I was competing with them if I went on and showed other stuff going on in the shop. So in February, we just got everything cleared enough to where we could start doing stuff, and we're testing the waters with different things. We've got a podcast called The Monkey Trap. But it's more interactive show. It's not this, me and you talking together. And then we've got a thing called Beer 30. That's more of what I'm into, what I think is cool, what's going on in the shop. But let me reverse that. Beer 30 is what's going on in the shop, walking around, talking about it, checking in on the builds, stuff like that. And
is that more like a vlog?
Yeah, but it's interactive. It's a show for people. I'm walking around. Yeah. You know, I don't really think that podcasts or vlogs are that anymore. It really, you've got your own show. This is your show. You know, I'm going to have my show like we interact. Like I'm going to do Snoop Dogg. I just did Mark Cuban. I'm going to do Snoop Dogg on my pod, the Monkey Trap, but I'm going out there. I'm going to hang out and ride in his cars and, go to Roscoe's and hopefully smoke some of that delicious weed of his and just really have a good time. Right. And then the other part is a thing we're calling motor, which is what I'm into, the lifestyle of Richard, whether it's jeans or tennis shoes or jewelry or, maybe whatever crosses my mind that I think is going on. And then we've got it scattered in with when we go buy cars and when we go sell cars. And we filmed yesterday, and people are going to freak out. I found an original 1969 911 S Porsche just 50 miles from here. And did you see the meme that went around that was talking about the price of wood?
Yes.
Rare barn find. It was 2 pieces of plywood, and behind it was the Porsche. That fucking Porsche was real, and everybody was laughing at the meme. I found the Porsche 50 miles from my house, 911 long nose S Porsche 69, and I bought it yesterday.
Those are becoming so like impossible to find.
Oh, that car's worth $250, $300 restored, and it only costs maybe $80 to restore it properly. I mean, it's not that expensive. So I'm pretty stoked over that because I'm going to have the I meme it video blog come out that says you idiots were laughing about the wood, and I went and bought the daggone car. So pretty cool. We're really gaining traction on our YouTube. We're gaining about 2,000 to 3,000 followers a day.
That much, huh?
Yeah,
that's great.
We're up a lot, and the stuff's fun. The people are enjoying it. We've got the Gas Monkey Garage Fund that we're starting, where you'll be able to donate money through Gas Monkey Foundation, and we're going to be giving out grants to smaller automotive and motorcycle shops that got hit with COVID and all this stuff that's been going on, whether it's weather or COVID or what have you. And then the big thing that we're doing is you've seen where you can buy a shirt and you get entries and you maybe win a new Ford Raptor or you win a like 80/80 or Rawlings Factory or Speed Society or whatever. So we're doing the same thing starting up here in about a month. But instead of just giving away a boring prize, like, here's your $1 million or here's your $100,000 Raptor, we are going to be doing the same thing. And the winner gets to first class travel out here to Dallas, gets to party with me and the crew, gets to go into Monkey Trap over there where I keep my entire private collection, and they can take any one car they want. I can't say anything.
Take the ride or take them for good?
Take it for good.
Seriously?
It's going to be wacky cool. It's going to be really neat. And as cars are disappearing over, the different ones that we do, I'll be adding more to my collection. But it's basically Steal Richard's ride, and I can't do anything about it. So it's going to be pretty cool. It's my personal cars that I've had for a long time.
What's your favorite car, if you have one?
I'm a 32 Ford guy. I don't get to drive them as much as I want to because the roads in Dallas are freaking horrible. But, I've got my 78 Trans Am from high school in there. I've got a very, very cool, it's called the King T. It was a hot rod built by Gene Winfield. It's probably worth north of $300,000. There'll be some Ferraris in there. There'll be some Rolls Royces. There's a little bit of everything in that garage. It's a lot. It'd be a lot. I don't know how I would pick if I had to.
Your 78 Trans Am. That was obviously you drove that when you were a kid. When did you pick up another one too? I remember it was on the show, if I'm mistaken. You redid one. How long ago did you get one in back? Or that's not your original. That's not your original, is it?
No, we made one on the show and did a Bandit episode. But
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
mine was red in high school, 4-speed, 6.6 with power windows, power steering, power brakes, T-tops, and they were the Hearst T-tops, not GM T-tops. And it took me forever to find that car. I didn't find the exact one. It's long gone, and thank God, because I wrecked it 2 or 3 times. But I finally found one perfectly restored from Restore a Muscle Car up in Lincoln, Nebraska. And it's funny because the one in high school I bought perfect condition from a deacon in my church for $4,500. I had to pay $65,000 for this one. So I'm like, dang. But it's a nice car. but yeah, we're going to do that probably 4 times a year, and people will be able to come in here, and we're starting a subscription model service that'll get you automatic entries, but you're going to get behind the scenes information and content that the normal viewer doesn't get. And it's like $4 or $5 a month. We haven't decided. You'll get automatic entries. You'll get the behind the scenes deals. But the big thing is you'll get a 48-hour sneak peek of anything that comes to the shop for sale before I put it out to the public.
The subscription model is massive. It's been massive for the last 2-3 years. And especially if you have a brand, it's such a smart thing to do. So I love what you're doing there.
You got to put the money back in, though. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Mr. Beast is the winner. Mr. Beast is, going to make $100 million this year. And, he does calculation. He's like, hey, my video is going to get 50 million views. That's going to net me out between all my different socials. I'm going to net $3 million. So I'm going to blow 500 or $1 million doing it, and that's the model. And we're going to be doing some of that stuff. Hopefully, if I can get my guys on board, we're going to have Magnum PI bumper cars in August. me and my 4 friends have to all buy Ferraris, shave to a mustache, wear the Hawaiian shirt, and in the parking lot where I do all the burnouts, we're going to play bumper cars until the last man standing. With
real Ferraris or bumper cars?
Real Ferraris. The only rule is you can't smash anybody in the back because that's what the motor is. So but that's a calculated move. That's a business move. We'll get it.
100%. Is going to get so many views, tons of views.
And we've got such a massive viewership outside the country that we're going to start doing some things in other countries and taking those trips and really having some fun. How's your
viewership in Canada? Because obviously I'm from Canada. I was a huge fan.
It's real strong up there.
A lot of cars, a lot of car guys, a lot of car heads here, man.
We're super strong up there. I got pulled over by a Canadian Mountie or whatever you call those guys one time. We were running the Gumball 3000 or the Bullrun 1, and I was cutting across, and I guess radar detectors are illegal up there, like to even have.
Yeah.
And, so we get pulled over. The guy's really pissed off because we were doing like 120 miles per hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers, but and then he just walks up and he goes, "Give me your radar detector." And I'd already taken it down. And I said, "I don't have a radar detector." He goes, "Sir, I have a piece of equipment in my car that detects radar." I said, "You've got a radar detector? And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Have they invented radar detectors yet? Because I got to get me one of those."
How many times did you run that, the Gumball?
Oh, probably 4 or 5 times.
Just for the audience to know, how many days of a stretch? How long is this?
Well, the Gumball and the Bullrun are events. And those for 7 days. You party every night in a different town, and then you drive all the next day and do it again. And then the Cannonball Run it's not an organized event. It's just something that you try to do. And we did it in 2007 from New York to LA and set the world record, 31 hours and 59 minutes that had stood since 1979. And now that record, I guess it lasted about 5 or 6 years. And then now it's been broken 3 times now. It's down to like 26 hours.
I wasn't aware I know I've seen your tattoo. I wasn't aware that that's what it was. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We got to hold it for 7 or 8 years, and that's super cool with me. So, but I'll never do it again. And who'd
you running with?
Dennis Collins. We ran it in a 550 Maranello Ferrari.
So you're gunning it the whole time. How many did you get any speeding tickets through the process?
We never got stopped. We only saw 2 cops, and they didn't even bother to try to come at us. We did 2,811 miles. We averaged 87.6 miles per hour, but that's including 5 gas stops. And the computer showed us over 200 miles an hour 23 times on freeways. And the car really liked to go 160. 160, you can with one hand, and what have you. It was nice. And so it was just a good run. It's dangerous. I said, don't do this at home. But it was something that really hadn't been thought of much until we broke the record. It started as just kind of a silly bet, and a buddy of ours bet us some money that we couldn't break the record. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, it hasn't been beaten since '79. He goes, no, because how about this? You don't have to pay me if you don't break the record, but I have to pay you if you do. And I went, well, that's good. I'm going to do that. So he lost 50 grand that day.
How's the, what was your mindset of getting into the Gas Monkey Bar and Grill? Like how, I mean, it's a total different, your branding obviously is local. How's that been? And because that's a very competitive industry, the bar and grill industry too, huh?
Well, I have plans and ambitions of it being the next House of Blues or Planet Hollywood or Hard Rock Cafe. We are a brand. We are worldwide and world renowned. I mean, this brand is recognized in over 100 countries and 20 languages. So I built the flagship here to test the waters, get it down, and now I'm getting ready for massive expansion. So
you're franchising it out.
Yeah, I'm going to build a licensee franchise model and what have you. It's been one of the most successful bar and restaurants in Dallas for many years prior to COVID. And it's all because of tourism. So we had one at the DFW airport that was just unbelievable. We had one in Key West for a little while. So we'll be popping those down anywhere that there is tourism related business, whether it's Orlando or Key West or, Mexico, all the tourist destinations, London, Australia, Sydney, Perth. We'll be dropping those pretty much everywhere pretty soon. And then I've got another deal that I can't quite announce yet, but it's going to involve over 125 locations in the U.S. and it's going to be pretty neat.
So your business is still flowing nicely. Love it.
It's flowing better than it's ever flown before.
I love it.
Getting out from underneath the network and the contracts and the restrictions has just
opened up the doors.
Yeah, COVID slammed them shut. It was like, well, I'm going to go kick some ass. And it was like, November of 19, and then I was like, boom, hit a wall. So now we're back flowing, and it was. I want to say COVID was a good thing, but it was the break was a good thing because it allowed me to really focus on my strategies in different markets.
How many children do you have?
I have one son and one stepson.
How old are they?
4 and 26.
Oh, big gap. So which one's your stepson? Which one's your son?
My son is younger.
4.
And then my stepson actually works for me here. He runs my social media team and what have you. So I guess I've raised him since he was around 3.
Awesome.
What have you. And
I was going to ask that. Are they? That's something where you're trying to, obviously, you'd like him to be part of your future kind of thing?
Well, that's his strong suit. He's not a car. I mean, he likes cars and motorcycles, but he's not a car guy. He's into what the kids are into these days. Social streaming, whatever. I mean, he's really been instrumental in helping us grow the way that we've grown. I mean, we've got a 19 million following and growing exponentially daily. And we really, since we've gotten away from the network, we've been able to really start interacting more and doing more. And we're getting a lot of great response from there. Matter of fact, COVID or not, Fast and Loud had kind of ran its course, and it was too difficult and too expensive to make at the caliber that I wanted to make it. So it was time for it to change. And now we've got stuff going on the net, and we just started a big build yesterday. You'll see the video probably next week. That's a 2021 5500 diesel Chevrolet chassis that's going underneath an 81 short school bus that'll be slammed and on air ride and everything else. And it's going to be pretty trick. I'm sorry, I'm just staring at it out there. But in one day yesterday, we completely tore down the brand new truck and have the chassis ready to go underneath the bus. And the bus is completely torn down. It was a running driving bus, and they're moving the wheel wells to accommodate the chassis. And it'll be basically almost a running driving truck probably by end of next week.
So when you guys are doing the YouTube channel, are with the builds now, are you doing one episode for the whole build? Or are you breaking up into episodes?
We're breaking into episodes.
Good. Okay.
It'll have a recap that will be pushed into one episode.
Yeah.
And what have you. So people will get, depending on because there is boredom in the build. Once it kind of, you see what it is, it gets real boring. So there might be 2 or 3 episodes one week and 1 episode the next. And, then 2 or 3 because crazy stuff's happening. That's going to be the challenge for us, because before you made that thing and then it was 6 months before it was on TV and pushed together in 1 episode. But
is that far of a gap behind, huh? 6 months almost.
At the most, sometimes as little as 3, but we, in 200 and something episodes of Fast and Loud, or 190, I guess, we never took longer than about 40 days to build the car, start to finish. And we did it sometimes in as fast as 20. Which is crazy
in the car building world. That's like insane.
No one can do it. I mean, and you might find a group that gets it done, but they'll never want to do it again. And we were doing it one after another. And then we've got the one episode that's out there on YouTube. It's got a ton of views. Is our OBS build that we did in 5 days. Drove in the truck, completely frame off, huge wheels, huge brakes, LS swap, big tranny, big wheels, everything, paint, body, interior, and back together. And we did it in 5 days.
How many guys working on it?
5.
Did anybody sleep?
Yeah.
Seriously, 5 days is
we've got
crazy.
Our shop set up, and we've got it down to such a fine orchestrated movement.
Yeah.
That we were able to do that. I think the first day we worked like 17 hours. The second day we worked like 14. The next 2 days were 12, and the last day was like 10. And I mean, we just roll right through it.
I love it. Is there one car or one vehicle that you've always wanted to get your hands on or to build and you've never been able to?
Not really. I mean, there's really not. There's a lot of different cars I'd still like to build, but everything from an F40 to a Ford GT to Volkswagens to, that was the other, I think, really cool thing about Fast and Loud is you never knew what we were going to be building.
No.
And so it wasn't like we were Camaro guys or Mopar guys or racers or whatever. Yeah. We built everything.
Yeah, I love it. Do you have any Ford GTs in your collection still?
Yeah, I've got a 2020 black new one. And then I've got I'm still trying to buy back, I guess, the 2005 that we built on the show that was black. And hey, Chelsea, will you come here, please? The 2005 that we bagged. And that car, I should have never sold that car. And the guy that bought it doesn't drive it. It's sitting inside a trailer, inside his warehouse with like 500 other cars. So
it's just a collector, just a big collector doesn't.
Yeah, he just won't get it back to me. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
I've offered him $100,000 profit on it. He won't take it.
There's 2 questions I always ask everybody near the end, and I'm going to just throw them out at you. If you had a superpower, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Everybody thinks that that's an easy question to answer. And you think, I guess my superpower would probably always be based around compassion and taking care of others and things like that. So I guess in order to do the best benefit, I'd want to be able to pick lottery numbers, because then I can use all that money to do the best benefit for the world and the people out there in it.
Before I ask, there you go with your beer. Before I ask the last question, let's recap what you're talking about for the small businesses, the account you're going to be building, all that.
Yeah, Gas Monkey Garage Fund.
Do you have a website up yet? Is it on your site?
Yeah, it's Gas Monkey Foundation. You can go and donate, and that's all you have to do. We're going to be giving grants out to automotive and motorcycle related small businesses all over the nation for starters, and then hopefully all over the world. We're going to do our good here, and if we can build it up, hey, Barstool Sports, he's raised like 46.
I was about to say that. That's good. I was going to go there right now.
Well, I'm following his lead.
Yeah, that's awesome.
great guy, and he's putting out a lot of, he's helping a lot of people, and that's what we're hoping to do the same. We did that with Garage Rehab. We really did go out and help. I think we made 20 episodes of Garage Rehab, and we rebuilt all their garages and left them with all new equipment and things like that. So this is something that I'm hoping to do.
Do you keep in contact with some of those rehabs you've done?
A few of them, yeah. It was awesome. We were really doing good for them.
Yeah, I know that 100%. Yeah.
I'm working with my vendors to have like garage packs that can go out, hopefully, tools, lifts, things like that, and what have you. So I'm hoping to do a lot of good. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be where I am in life, and all I really want to do now is have fun and pay it forward.
I love it. Last question I got for you, brother. Then we're going to just let you finish it off. If something were to happen to you today, in a few words, almost like a eulogy, how would you want to be remembered or described by your loved ones?
Oh, man, my loved ones are the ones that hate me the most, probably, because they know all the secrets. No, I really just that I was a kind and compassionate guy, and that I was a great boss and a great mentor. Because I'm very proud of the people that have come through here as a business. They've all gone on to do businesses of their own, and that's something that makes me very happy. I've tried to always do the right thing, and so that's what I wanted to say. The funniest thing is, though, is everybody says, "Guys, I'm on TV." They're like, "Oh, that guy's an asshole." I'm like, "I'm the nicest guy on the planet."
Yeah. And that's the thing with sometimes with reality TV and stuff like that, is just you never truly understand what's behind the scenes, right? You're getting you're getting a short glimpse of what they edit and what they show. So you never truly understand. I mean, as an entrepreneur.
And we don't have control over that edit.
Yeah, I know. And
I never see the show until it's on.
Yeah. And as an entrepreneur, like I've built numerous things, and we've done extremely well for ourselves here in Toronto, Canada. But as a businessman looking at you, I mean, I could see what you've done, what you've accomplished, right? I see everything you've done, which is incredible, and I'm very happy for you, and man, I wish you all the success going forward, and I know you're going to help a lot of people along the way. So I keep moving forward, man. Keep killing it, brother. I love everything you're doing, man.
Thank you, man. I'll give you one last bit on the. I was walking in a car show one time a few years ago. I was on TV, everything was pumping, and I hear this guy behind me. He goes, "Man, that dude's a dick," talking to his friend. So I'm like, I stop, I turn around. Of course, this guy's like, "Oh man, we're fixing to get in a fight." I said, whoa, I'm not mad, man. I said, I'm just overheard you. I said, "Why do you think I'm a dick? I mean, what did I do to you?" And he's like, "Oh, well, nothing to me, with my friend." And I said, "So your friend said I was a dick?" I said, "Do you know, is your friend here?" I said, "What did I do to him?" "Well, he just said," and I said, "So you have no firsthand knowledge that I'm a dick?" And he's like, "Well, no." So I'll tell you, man, I always carry cash. I said, "I got 10 grand for you. And for anybody that you can bring to me that can give me firsthand knowledge of me being a dick." And he goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, and I'll never run out of money." I said, "So you just keep bringing those people, as many as you can find." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And I go to walk off, and I turn around and I said, "You just missed out on 10 grand. And he goes, "Why?" And I said, "Because that was me being a dick."
I love it. Any last things you want to say to our audience?
No, not really. Hit us up at gasmonkeygarage.com. Get your merch. Hit up Gas Monkey Garage Fund. Let's do some good for these mom and pop businesses. I appreciate you and everything you've done, and having the time to talk to me. This has been a good time, and I really appreciate it. Let's do it again when I got something crazy going on to talk about.
Love it, buddy. Thank you so much.